I couldn't just sit and watch my marriage crumble. I am a beautiful woman, but my husband, Fred, had just made me understand that men can never be trusted. While my husband lavished his mistress with luxury and lies, I smiled, gifted his assistant handbags, and waited. Not because I didn't know, but because I knew everything. And when I moved, I didn't raise my voice. I raised the floor beneath her feet and watched her fall. I ensured that I brought her down with everything I have. This isn't just a story of betrayal. It's a story of strategy, silence, and a wife who chose to destroy her rival without ever lifting a finger. Before I continue, let me pause for a while and appreciate you all that have been so dedicated to this channel. You all have been so amazing, and I am really grateful. Your countless support will never go unnoticed. Your comments, likes are very important to this channel. If this is your first time here, welcome to this family and subscribe for more beautiful stories. Now let me take you to the deepest part of this emotional, heartbreaking, and betrayal story. They said a woman always knows when her man is cheating. At first, I dismissed the signs, because I didn't want to believe it. Not that I thought Fred was perfect, no. I just didn't want to admit that the man I built an empire with could betray me so carelessly. Fred and I lived like royalty in South Carolina. Both of us were business tycoons, known all across America. We had everything money could buy: mansions, multiple luxury cars, investments from coast to coast, and people who bowed when they heard our names. From the outside, we were that couple, rich, powerful, admired. But on the inside, we were crumbling, quietly. Fred changed somewhere along the way. His smiles became shorter. His phone, once left on the kitchen counter, now never left his hand. He started traveling more, taking business trips that didn't always match the calendar. He was always too tired, too busy, or too distracted to have a real conversation with me. Still, I stayed silent. I didn't want drama. I wanted facts. There was one person I trusted during this time: Melissa, Fred's personal assistant. She was sharp, loyal, and warm. I liked her instantly the first day I met her, and over time, she became like a younger sister to me. Every time she stopped by our office with papers or messages, I would hand her gifts: watches, perfume, handbags, sometimes cash for her family. She never asked for any of it. I just gave because she had earned my trust. One afternoon, Melissa knocked gently on the door to my private office. "Jasmine, do you have a moment?" she asked, her voice lower than usual. I nodded. "Sure, come in." She sat down across from me and hesitated before speaking. "I didn't want to be the one to tell you this, but I respect you too much to keep quiet." I sat up straight. My heart skipped a beat. She took a deep breath and said, "Fred is seeing someone. Her name is Janet." I didn't flinch. I didn't even blink. "Go on," I said, my voice calm. "She's young, tall, very beautiful. Curvy. Always dressed like she's walking a runway. He's been flying her around to Dubai, Italy, the Bahamas. They stay at 5-star hotels. He spends money on her like water." I nodded slowly. Inside, I was screaming, but my face was stone. "I've seen messages, hotel bookings, and receipts." "I'm sorry." I forced a smile and stood up. "Thank you for telling me, Melissa. You've done your part." After she left, I locked the door, leaned against the wall, and let the truth sink in. So it was true. Fred was cheating, and not just a one-night stand or a flirtatious mistake. He had built a second world with another woman. A woman who enjoyed the life I helped him build. That night, I lay in bed next to him, watching his face as he slept peacefully. He looked so innocent, so unbothered. My chest ached with betrayal, but I didn't make a sound. I simply stared at the man who shared my name, my bed, my wealth, and yet had the audacity to share his body with someone else. He thought he was smart. He thought he was untouchable. What he didn't know was that I could be smarter. Colder. Sharper. I was never the type to scream or fight in public. I didn't throw things or cry in bathrooms. No. I took a different route. Quiet. Calculated. Patient. Fred had no idea that the clock had started ticking the moment Melissa opened her mouth. His perfect little secret? I was going to burn it from the inside out. But first, I had to find her. I had to know her name, her address, her lifestyle. If he wanted to build a world with another woman, I was going to make sure it came crashing down, brick by brick. And he would never see it coming. They say revenge is best served cold. But for me, it was warm, steady and slow, like tea brewed to perfection. After Melissa gave me the name Janet, I went to work like the businesswoman I am. I didn't react emotionally. I treated it like any other corporate investigation. Calm. Focused. Precise. I hired a private investigator within 48 hours. Find her, I told him. Everything. Where she lives, where she shops, what she eats, where she works, if she breathes, I want to know how often. It didn't take long. Janet was loud without knowing it. Her Instagram was a diary. Vacations in Dubai. Breakfast in Santorini. Spa selfies in Manhattan. Her captions were full of grateful to be spoiled and my king takes care of me. I laughed bitterly. Your king is married, sweetheart. She was tall and stunning, exactly as Melissa described. Hourglass figure, glowing skin, long hair always done. I could see what pulled Fred in. She looked like a walking dream. But I was wide awake now. Janet worked as a PR executive at a boutique firm. She lived in a fancy apartment in Charleston, one that Fred paid for in full. She drove a white convertible Fred bought her on her birthday. I had all the receipts. And still, Fred would come home every evening, kiss my cheek, and ask what's for dinner. I didn't confront him. No. That would have ended the game too quickly. I needed to hurt what he loved outside our home. Quietly. Without warning. First, I went after the apartment. The building was under a development group I had business ties with. It only took a few calls and one board meeting. I bought controlling interest and had her eviction notice delivered, nicely sealed, with 30 days to vacate. No explanation. No mercy. Second, the car. Traced back to a business account that Fred borrowed from. I flagged it for misuse of company funds. I had the car repossessed the same week. She came out of her building to an empty parking space. I imagined her standing there, confused, holding her latte. Third, her job. I acquired a 25% share in her firm through a shell company. Once I had leverage, I had a quiet meeting with the CEO. Janet's presence isn't aligned with our new direction, I said with a smile. By Monday, she was asked to resign. Piece by piece, her life collapsed. And I never had to touch her, never had to scream. She didn't even know who I was. That's what made it sweeter. Fred noticed her mood changing. She's acting strange, he once said, staring at his phone. Stopped answering calls. Doesn't want to see me. I nodded and stirred my tea. Maybe she found someone new, I said gently. He sighed, like a man watching his castle fall. Then, one day, Janet vanished. No calls. No emails. No goodbye. She blocked him everywhere. Fred was shaken. Confused. Heartbroken. He never got a reason. He thought it was her. Maybe she got tired. Maybe it was distance. But I knew. I was the reason. I was the storm behind her silence. I had taken back what was mine, my peace, my pride, my place. And all without dirtying my hands. Fred walked around the house like a ghost after that. Distant. Silent. Sometimes I caught him staring out the window, phone in hand, as if expecting her to call. She never did. And I never told him the truth. Not yet. He thought it was just bad luck. But it wasn't. It was me. It had been months since Janet disappeared from Fred's life. Our home grew quiet. Fred was no longer the loud, confident man I married. He had become a shell of himself. He came home early these days. No more late-night meetings. No more overseas conferences. He started asking me about dinner, about how my day went, about my business projects, like he suddenly remembered I existed. I played along. I was polite. Calm. Kind, even. But inside, I watched him slowly crumble. I knew he missed her. He didn't have to say it. It was in the way he stared blankly at his phone, or how he barely smiled when we were around people. He looked like a man who had lost something he never expected to lose. But what really made it sad? He didn't know why she left. That part, I held close to my chest. Until one night, I decided it was time. We were having dinner, just the two of us. Candlelight. Expensive wine. Silence between every bite. Then I looked at him and said, "Do you still think about her?" His fork paused. He looked up slowly. "What are you talking about?" "Janet," I said. Calmly. Like I was asking about the weather. He sat back in his chair, eyes wide, confused. "How do you know about Janet?" I smiled. "I've always known." He blinked, then looked away. Ashamed. "I know about the trips. The gifts. The hotels. I even know about the apartment you got her in Charleston. And the car. I know everything." He swallowed hard. "Jasmine, No, I cut in. Let me finish." He nodded, silent. "I didn't confront you because I needed you to feel what I felt. You thought you were smart, Fred. You thought I'd never find out. But I did. And I made a choice. I didn't come for you. I went for her." I watched his face closely. His lips parted, but no words came out. I bought her building and evicted her. I repossessed the car. I got her fired from her job. One by one, I took away everything you gave her. And when she couldn't handle the pressure, she left you. Quietly. Without goodbye. Fred stared at me like he was looking at a stranger. "You did all that?" he whispered. "Yes," I said. "To save our home. Not for you, but for me. I wasn't going to let another woman dance on my dignity." He rubbed his face, breathing hard. "Jasmine, you're more powerful than I ever imagined." "No," I replied. "You just forgot who you married." For a long time, he sat in silence. Then finally, he looked at me and said, "Why didn't you tell me earlier?" "Because you weren't ready to hear it. You were still living in a fantasy. I needed that fantasy to crash. And it did." He looked like he wanted to argue, to defend himself, but there was nothing left to say. The truth was standing tall between us, and it wasn't going anywhere. That night, Fred didn't sleep well. I could hear him turning on the bed, restless, broken. And I didn't comfort him. I just lay there, staring at the ceiling, feeling no joy, but no regret either. You see, people think forgiveness is weakness. It's not. It's power. The power to choose how you respond to pain. I chose silence. I chose strategy. And I won. Fred never brought up Janet again. He treats me differently now, not with love, maybe, but with respect. He knows what I'm capable of. And as for Janet? She's just a memory now. A shadow that passed through our lives. She had her fun. But I made sure she paid the price. I never told her it was me. And Fred? He'll never look at me the same again. If you find this story interesting and relatable, subscribe and hit on notifications. Your comments and likes are highly important for the growth of this channel. Thank you for watching. See you on the next one.